Hi guys, so here is the Ankara print I'll be using for this tutorial. This is almost 7 yards of fabric I'm having here. So this is it, and again here is the wording I'll be putting into the bust area later on, and this is the matching lining I'll be using also. So here is the front bodice. As you can see, I already outlined from the shoulder to the chest line, the bust line, the under bust, and the waist, the actual waistline. So on the upper line, which we have 16 inches as the normal size. So for this plus size, I'm having 19 inches, which is 9.5 inches, dividing it into two. So I went down by 1 inches afterwards. So after that, you take your armhole measurement, dividing it into two. Whatever it gives you, that automatically will be the chest line. So this is it, and also from the center of it, you outline 9.5 inches also. So for the vertical measurement from your neck, from your shoulder line downwards to your bust, so I'll outline it. That's what you're seeing right now. So that's 13 inches, and make sure you add extra half of an inch on each measurement when you're doing it vertically. After taking the vertical measurements, which is from your shoulder to your actual waistline, you take your chest line, which is on the chest line, you take your bust measurements. You divide your bust measurement into four, whatever you have there. That's what I'll be outlining now. So mine is 48, dividing it into 4, which gives me 12 inches. So I'll outline that now using my tailor's chalk, and then I'll go up by 2.5 inches. As you can see me doing, then I'll go in again by half of an inch, as you can see me doing. So I'll take my pattern master now, and then I'll connect all lines together, so you don't have any issue while you're doing other measurements, so it's easy that way. So that's why I'm doing this now. So you connect it, so using your pattern master, as you can see. So you can use your free hand. So from the 2.5 inches you went up with is when you'll be connecting it to meet up with the actual bust measurement. So I hope you understand what I just said. So as you can see, after doing that, you're going to be measuring the bust palm. So the bust palm, which is your nipple to nipple measurement, you divide whatever you have into two. So the size I'm working, because it's a plus size, is 11 inches. So I'll be adding half of an inch to it. That will give me 12 inches while dividing it into two. So now I'll outline the 6 inches on the bust line and on the waistline, then I will connect it using my pattern master. So the reason why I added half of an inch is because we are cutting it on the fabric and not a pattern paper. So now I'm going to be outlining the waistline. So we're going to be using 2.5 inches on this waistline, from the under bust to the waist, to the actual waistline. So I'm going to be using 2.5, 1 inches towards the center part and 1.5 inches towards the sides of this pattern. So why I'm doing this is because, remember, the bust line I'm working with is 48 inches. If you're working with a plus size of maybe 42 inches, you can actually use 2 inches to 2.25 of an inch, or you leave it at 2 inches. So this here you can see 1 inches going towards the center part and 1.5 inches towards the sides of this pattern. So you can see all together it is 2.5. So from the under bust, you outline it downwards to the actual waistline. So after doing this, the next thing I will be doing is connecting it from the under bust to the bust points. So just make sure whatever you're doing, you're using, if you're using your hand, your free hand, you make sure you're using a curvy free hand, not just a straight outline. So now I'll be using my pattern master to outline it so it is well curved. This is why I'm using this pattern master, so it is well curved. So I'll do that now using my pattern master from both sides, but the center part I'll also be using it on the center part also. see how curvy that is after using the technique, the 1.5 inches on one side and 1 inches on the other side. So now it's time to take out the princess dart area. So what you do is I'll be taking from my shoulder line through the armhole curve to meet up with the bust measurement. So whatever you have, you divide it into two. Mine is 6, as you can see. So I'll outline that 6 inches on the midpoint. So I'll connect it using my pattern master to do that in a curvy shape. After outlining it, it should be looking like this. So the next thing I will do now is taking the dart, outlining the dart. So you go up here by 1 inches, and then on this both side you take 2 inches. So you divide it 1 inches on both sides, as you can see me doing, and then you connect it with your pattern master or your ruler. So I'll be using my pattern master now to connect it from here downwards to the 1 inches, and I will do likewise to the other side. So you can see the way I'm doing it. So you connect it from the 1 inches to meet up with the 1 inches below, and also on this other side. The next thing I will do after outlining it is taking my measuring tape to see if the two lines are accurate. So I will first measure from the upper area to meet up with that 1 inches, whatever you have there. This is 6.5, as you can see. This is 6.5. So I'll go down again to the other part of the dart to meet up with the um um to meet up with that 1 inches, because it's not always accurate after sewing. So here I have 6 inches, so I'll just be going up by 1 to 1.5 inches. So by the time I'm done sewing, I'm sewing it, it's accurate. So I'll go out like so. You can see the way I'm doing it outside the armhole line, so you can see it. This is connecting to this other line, so we'll be connecting a new line from that 1.5 inches I just did. Now I'll be connecting it to meet up with the bust measurement. After doing that, the next thing we'll be doing now is taking the round measurement from the bust line downwards to the waistline. So what I will do, remember I took out 2 inches for this dart here, so I'll be adding it up, which is 2 inches, and then I'll be adding 1 inches to sew and join these two pieces together later on. So that will be 3 inches. So I will add extra 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So I will add that 4.5 inches now to the previous 12 inches for the bust. So that's what I will be doing now. So I'll just be adding 4.5 inches for all that I'll be needing for this for the sewing. So I'll connect it to that 12 inches I measured earlier. I hope you understand what I just explained. After doing that, I'm just going to be shading out those areas that I'm not going to be needing for this. So this part here is not going to be included. I'm cutting that area out, including the down part that we took the other time. So now I'll be taking the waist measurement. The round waist measurement is 49 inches. So I'll divide that by 4. So it will give me 12 inches and 1/4 of an inch. So I will sketch it out, I will outline it, and then I will be adding the 2.5 inches we took out for the that intake the other time. So I will take that, I will add it back to the measurement. Whatever that intake you take out is what you're going to be putting back when you're measuring it. Remember, we are cutting it on the fabric. After outlining the actual measurement, I'll be adding 2.5 inches for the dart intake, and also 1 inches to sew the darts together, and another 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance. So I hope you understand what I just said. Now, before connecting it from the bust line to the waistline, we're going to be working on the side seam, because of the back from the shoulder line downwards to the waistline for the back is always shorter than the front panel. So I'm going to be going up. I'm just going to be taking 1.5 inches upwards from this from the side, so it matches with the back pattern. So I'll just connect it from that waistline to meet up with the dart. So you can see how I connected that area. Then you connect it from the bust line downwards to the waistline. I'm going to be connecting from this 1.5 inches to the armhole, under the armhole. That will serve as the new armhole for this drafting, so that when you're sewing it, it's accurate. When you're joining both sides together, it's accurate. I'll be working on the neckline of this dress now. So I'll be adding 1 inches to the previous 3 inches I took earlier on this slant part. This slant area is where you'll be taking your 1 inches from. So that will be 4 inches for the neck width. So now for the neck depth, my clients want 12 inches, but before taking the 12 inches, I'm going to go down first by 9 inches so I can, get the sharp v-neck, because this is a v-neck design drafting. So from there I will go again. I will go down by 11.5 inches. Remember, we are still going to be sewing it down. We are still going to be joining it with the lining. So by the time I'm done joining it with the lining, it is accurately 12 inches. And I will line it using my pattern master. After doing this, I'll cut everything out. So just pay attention to the way I'll cut this out from the shape. Here is the back of the dress. I'm not going to be doing much here. As you can see, the difference here from the front bodice is just the waistline, which is not the same length, and the zipper area, including the dart intake we took for the front body. After outlining it, you take your measurement, which is the bust measurement, dividing it into 4, and then you add it together with your sewing allowance. So on the down part, which is the waistline, I'll go out by 1/2 inch on both sides of the dart. So I'll come down here on the chest line. From the chest line, you go down by 1 inches, and then you connect it directly to the dart you just outlined. So that's what I'm doing now, using my pattern master to do that. Like I said earlier, the only difference here from the front bodies is just the dart intake, and also with the length of this pattern. So the length from the shoulder here is 21.5 inches. I made it to be. So for the armhole is the same thing. We are just going to be rolling it, curving it like so from the 2.5 inches. We're not going to be going in by 1/2 inch. I hope you understand what I just explained. So on the waistline, you add your actual waistline, dividing it into 4, and then you add the 1 inches for the dart intake, so you can use it to sew it together. And again, you add your 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I'll go again. 2.5 inches in total is what you'll be adding to the actual waistline. So on this center part, which is the zipper center part, which is your waistline, you go in by 1 inches or 1/2 inch, and then on the chest line you go up by 2 inches, so you can create the shape. So I will just be creating the shape from that 2 inches downwards on the end of the center of the fabric to meet up with the 1/2 inch. So you can use 1/2 inch to 1 inches if you're working with a plus size. If you're working with a very tiny, the waist part of the back line is not always straight, so that's why I'm removing this 1/2 inch from the center back of the zipper area. Note that all measurements should be starting from the line of the zipper area. So now I will go down by 4 inches for the back neck depth, and also on the neck width I'll be using 4 inches as well, just as I did for the front bodice. So after outlining it, I will use my pattern master and shaping it out to outline it, and then I'll start the cutting. As you can see, here is the back and also the lining I cut to match up with it. So I'll notch that area. I'm not going to be slanting it, so I'll just be stitching it together with the lining afterwards. So here is the front bodice, as you can see. Before before joining it together, we'll need a wording. This is the wording I'll be using. So all you need to do is to get a hard wording or soft wording, depends on your preference. So I will be using a soft wording. So from the um, upper side downwards to the underbust is where I'll be needing this wording to be. So you just give it a shape, whatever shape you want, however you want it to be, either round shape or V shape. You know I'm working with a V shape neckline. So whatever you should be putting from the underbust upwards should be 8 inches in length. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. So, and note the center part is on fold. So that's what I will be doing. So I'll just be cutting it step by step so you can see how you're going to do yours when you want to do it. So after shaping it, you can see I already shaped it on the upper area, and then this is the center part of the pattern we are making now and is on fold. So I'll be cutting it on fold the same way this center part is also on fold. So I'll place it on the panel, on the wording after getting what they need. So from the underboards, you cut it to that shape. You can see you cut it to that shape. So don't make any mistake when you're doing this particular area. So I will do that now, and then I will do likewise to the other panel. Down part of this dress I'm making. So the short length, remember, is 23 inches. So I'll place it on the beginning of this fabric, which is this Ankara print, and then I'll take the full length from that area there. The length I'm working with is 60 inches. This includes both the sewing allowance of this dress. So now the excess I'm having here is 5 inches, as you can see. So I'll be cutting the excess out later on, because I don't want to add extra inches to this. So shortly I'll be explaining in details how you're going to get the ruffle, which is the pleated part in on the waist area. So what you'll do, you need your actual hip line, which is your actual hip measurement, inclusive with the sewing allowance, which is going to be 2 inches, and then the center back for the for the zipper allowance, you're going to be needing extra 2 inches. So this is 60 inches. So the hip line I'm working with is the hip measurement I'm working with is 59 inches. So I've added extra 3 inches. Extra 4 inches to that. So the next thing you'll do, you'll measure extra 3 yards, that is 36 inches into 3 or more. If you have excess fabric, if you have enough fabric, you can make it as much volume you want it to look. After getting the fabric you're in need of, the amount of wideness you need to know where the slits will be, which is going to be either the left side and the right side. So you place your fabric into 4, leaving the zipper area there. which is going to serve as the back zipper area. So you outline that out before folding it into 4, and then after folding it into 4 you fold it again into 8 so you can get the actual side, because you don't want to mess up with the slam, because I'm going to be cutting it into 2 so it is accurate, because I'm going to be adding lining to this. I'll take that again. This is into 4. One part is folded and the other side is the slitted part, whereby you'll be adding your zipper later on. So now I'll take from the center part, which is the folded area, to the 3/4 of the area where I have folded into 4, and that is where your slant part will be on the left part of your dress. I hope you understand me now. After I'm done getting the sides, I already slanted this. I split it into 2, which is the fabric, so I'll be sewing it together later on with half of an inch. So I'll go down here now from the waistline. This is from the waistline to where I want it to be covered, and start with the slit. So this is 19 inches. So you can see I'll be stitching the slit from this end here to the hemming part of this skirt. After doing that, here I'm having the sleeve. So we're going to be cutting the sleeve now. This is the wideness of the sleeve, which is 22.5 inches in total and is on fold. The length will be 11 inches, but because of the puff sleeve you're making and also elastic band will be inserted into it, I'll be adding extra 4 inches, which is going to be 15 inches in length. So now this is the wideness and is on fold, which will be 45 inches in total for the wideness. So now I'll just be shaping this area. I'll go down by 3 to 4 inches or 2 inches thereabouts, and just outline it using my chalk, and then I'll be cutting that out. So guys, if you enjoyed this video so far, kindly please give it a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss out on any of my videos, subscribe, be a subscriber to my channel, and I'm sure you will love it here. So in the continuation of this sleeve, so I'll just be cutting this shape out after, outlining it like so. So I have enough amount I need for this, so I'll cut this out now, shaping it with my scissors. So guys, stay tuned as I'll be putting up the part 2, which is the sewing part of this tutorial, and I know you don't want to miss it. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to get notified when I'll be uploading new videos. And if you also have any videos you want me to put up here, you can feel free to comment below, and I will see to it that I answer to every of your requests. So guys, until I see you again in the next one, stay blessed and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.